The following podcast contains mature language and adult discussions.
I was thinking about the other day, Kev. Anyone who listens to us just on the audio and doesn't watch the YouTube, they don't get to enjoy that open. I mean, I think the open alone is reason to go find this on YouTube every week. This is Kliq This, the Kevin Nash podcast, in case you're wondering what the hell you're doing here. And but maybe you're one of the people who've been here 100 weeks. It's possible. We're longer than the WCW run. You know, that we mentioned that when we passed 83. Speaking of which, I saw Meltzer had an NWO shirt on, courtesy of our friend Vince Russo. Sent this image. Did you catch that, Kev?
I did. Only because it was on our chat between the members of our crew, so yeah.
You know, if he knew you got a piece of that, he probably wouldn't have worn it.
Everybody wants to be kind of, on the winning team,
How has he been to you over the years?
When I broke in, he was brutal. I didn't know. I didn't even know that I could have anything but a dud.
These are the Oz days.
Oh, just
Vinny Vegas. Right.
But the thing is, in fairness to Dave, I mean, it wasn't like I was, tearing it up. So, yeah. My thing about that was, it was much like somebody that can't boil water, that was going to restaurants and telling me who could cook and who couldn't. So, it's just subjective. It's just those that can't critique.
Well, but here's my I'm gonna give you devil's advocate on this, because I've talked to a lot of workers who have said exactly that, which would preclude us from talking about someone's NFL game this week. I've never played. You've never played, but do we know enough about the sport where we can critique it?
Well, I mean, I couldn't sit here and say, well, when I couldn't do like Aikman or Romo do when I'm saying when they were in this coverage, he should have done this, and I'm not that astute at it. I'm much better talking hoops that I played, and I played football. I sure as hell. I mean, it doesn't take much for me to watch a baseball game and see a little square and see the ball 13, 14 inches outside the bottom and the left and the right of the strike zone, and some jackass behind it calling it strikes all day long, to know that's, it's time to go to some kind of computerized.
But you didn't play baseball?
I played when I was young.
Right. So, but you could be critical of a player's performance in a game.
No.
I think you could. Of course you could.
No, I couldn't.
You couldn't be critical of if I played a song for you right now, you couldn't be critical of the band's performance?
I could give
I
give an opinion. I couldn't say that, oh, Jesus, man, I don't know why they played that chord there. What is he? Why is fucking Keith Richards fucking playing with 3 strings? He could. Mm-hmm. I couldn't.
Okay. All right.
I mean,
we'll agree to disagree. I think I could sit and talk about that a song doesn't resonate with me, or that it's passionless and the lyrics are trite and forced rhyme.
But I don't think that it's completely different when you're talking about like a finished. He's talking about giving a match stars.
Like a movie, like a critic
But I
would
don't
give a movie.
I don't give fucking movies stars. I say whether I like it or I don't like it.
So if he lost the star system, but said that was a terrible match, but just didn't give it a rating, it would somehow have more credence with you? Like Siskel and Ebert. They didn't give, I don't think they gave ratings, but they would sit and talk about what was good. They would do thumbs up, thumbs down,
thumbs up, thumbs down. Yeah.
Right. Your highest...
That makes a lot more sense to me than... That's even like Rotten Tomatoes. Like, you know how many times I've watched a Rotten Tomatoes at 70 and puked? Put it this is what I say about. Let me just say this about opinions. If you're not in a place that I want to be in my life, I have no fucking use for your opinion.
So right. So it's got to be someone you look up to in some way.
Absolutely. If you're somebody that's given me an opinion, and at the same time you're saying, "Excuse me, I'll finish that. But let me just see if I can get $2 panhandling off these tourists." I don't think I'm going to stick around and listen to your opinion.
Your highest rated Dave Meltzer match was TNA Lockdown 08. It was April 13th, 2008. It was Christian and you and Matt Morgan and Rhino and Sting pinned AJ Styles, the Dudleys, James Storm. It was a Lethal Lockdown, a 10-man match. Oh, and Tom Go also. 3.75 stars.
And
in case you were wondering.
And that was better than me and Brett at Survivor Series.
Well, according to Dave.
Exactly.
And only got, I think, 3 different 1-star matches, it looks like, also. In case you're wondering.
I'm not.
So Dave, Kev, thanks you for the check. Listen, Tim Malcolm says, pre-congratulations on your 100th episode, guys. That means a lot of us have literally spent hundreds of hours tuning in. I remember when Tristan passed. I was really worried about Kev as a person, the future of the podcast, and it truly bothered me. I have suicidal tendencies in my family. I'm glad you're doing a little bit better, big man. It is 100, Kevin, and Tristan was, and always has been, a part of every episode.
Well, I think that if T was alive and had decided that he didn't want to do this anymore, then I don't know that for what and we talked about this earlier, for what we make financially out of this, it's worth my time.
Right.
But in order, like, what makes this worth my time is the 4T between us right now on the screen, and the 4T at the end of the show, and the Sophia on the playout. And those are the things that because that in its own way keeps my sons, it keeps them alive to a degree. And this was his idea. He thought that I should do a podcast. He said, "Who would you want as a host?" And I said, "You." And he watched 1 or 2 shoot things that we did, and he said that would be perfect. And you came down here, and we set things up, and I'll never forget of touching moments in my life, like when I just because so many times in our lives we just like you just think like I give up on humanity. I just absolutely give up on humanity. I know when T passed, he wanted that fucking YouTube 100,000 subscriber thing so bad, and I just reached out and I said, and I just sat and watched our thing go from 35 to 100,000 in like 2 hours. It's like pumping gas in a fucking boat.
Yeah.
And that was one of the things where that told me that there's a lot. It gave me, I guess it gave me hope. It gave me hope that this fucking, like, maybe we've got more than, maybe it will be an asteroid that hits it, and not the destruction of because we can't decide on which fucking absolute loser to put in the fucking White House.
Where we are now. But I want to say about T. He, I don't know, like on your end, I'm curious to know what would go on during the week when we first started, but he was so all in, Kev, from my perspective. Like, this wasn't just like something he fucked around with, like with you, like once a week, came down and had fun. Like, he called me with ideas, and it would just make me laugh sometimes. And he thought about it all the time, and he had a vision for the show. He knew what it could be, where he wanted it to go. I mean, he was so in. I couldn't imagine a time where if he was around, wouldn't have wanted to keep going, because, like, even from music, he called me with riffs and talked about music to add to the show. He was so into it.
The day of the show, he would be so short with Tamara. And then when I said, I'd be like T, like, we got to go, and he'd be like, and he'd have his legal pad, and he'd be like, so, like, oh fuck, because he was on the spectrum, and he would get so worked up, and man, we'd get in here, and we'd, and that's back when fuck, I didn't even know how to turn this computer on. He'd sit here and get everything going.
You're only slightly better.
Huh?
You're only slightly better. Go ahead.
Yeah. Hey.
You get on every week, though. Fuck, man. I mean, there's no more phone calls. We're good.
But it's like anything else. I'm not saying that I'm going to be taking Jack Ryan's job as an analyst, but at the same time, it's just like I can do what I need to do.
Hmm. But he would come down, and initially, I always felt like initially for the technical, but he had so many ideas for content too, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, no, he and I would talk, a lot during the week, and what I wanted to do is I wanted to put his input as the third person, and because he had such a he had so many, he was so conspiracy driven, he had so many different thoughts, completely different than mine, and and you and I are similar, our ages and how how we were brought up in the Northeast. So, and T had I thought he would have been a breath of fresh air, and and people don't know this, but my son's first vote for president was for Trump.
That's something.
T voted for Trump in my fucking house and told me about it.
Did he say why?
He was so fucking tired of politicians, and he just thought
he'd be different.
That it would be different, and it's just like, it doesn't matter what kind of human being you put in the middle of quicksand, they all fucking sink to the bottom and die. Mm. And I've learned that in my 64 years,
Right.
Or they get fucking, if they don't sink, they get fucking back into the left. So, one way or another, man, this it isn't going to work out.
Like the thumbnails for the two respective shows you're talking about.
Exactly.
Do you have a favorite memory over the last 100 shows? Would it have been starting it with T?
I think one. I think absolutely one was huge because And then because out of the box, like everybody does, we were ranked number 1, and he was a part of that, and he was proud of it. He was on the number 1, wrestling podcast, and it gave him. I just noticed that he was all of a sudden, like he got into such a creative mode where he was writing more songs.
Oh, that's interesting. It spilled over into the
other
stuff.
It was like he was stagnated, and then he that's why he became so like hyper creative in every aspect. And so yeah, it was. So I told the crew on the way. So I wore this shirt down today. This is the shirt I wore down.
Lovely coffee
It's this
color.
fucking. It's actually khaki, which matches these khaki fucking shorts I got on. Which is, I was styling profiling earlier today. Woo! But I knew that this shirt that I have on has been sitting on the back of the chair that is identical to this chair that sits across from me, and it's kind of cocked where I could see T by just like I could actually because my basketball peripheral vision is that much greater than Kuzi's. I could see him at all times, and this shirt has been on the back of that chair since T passed, because this air conditioning down here. It's like our electric bill is $34 a month, and this place is a fucking icebox because it's just cinder block. It's just, and when I shut those, when I so just, and I set it on 70, but I've got a fan right above me. So he'd come down here. We'd both have like tank tops on or whatever. And he'd be like, "Dad, I'm freezing." So we were getting in the car, and I said, grab that shirt, because this shirt had just came in the mail. I said, grab that shirt and bring it down in case you get cold tonight. He never put it on, but he put it on the back of the chair, and it sat there. So tonight when I was coming down, my Tamara looks at me. She goes, "It's 100th episode, right?" I said, she goes, "You're going to wear that shirt?" I said, "No." I said, I explained to her the deal. She goes, "Oh, that's really," and I could tell her getting choked up. I said, "Babe, come on. 34 fucking guilties. Let's go, babe."
Something to celebrate, Tamara. Come on.
Yeah, perk up.
We'll get there.
What's this? I mean, to me, it's like, and as time went on, as time went on and things happened politically and elsewhere, and our, the shoot and jump shots in Puerto Rico with the paper towels, and the ingesting disinfectant for COVID, and the other things that just kind of progressed that he just saw. Like, and I remember one day he just looked at me and he said, "Dad, you told me not to make that vote, and I fucked up." And I said, "Well, why?" I said, "And why did you fuck up?" He said, "Because you told me that I wasn't voting for president. I was basically, because I was not a Hillary Clinton fan by any means, but I knew that at stake was 3 Supreme Court justices. So I would tell him, we're not voting for president, we're voting for 3 Supreme Court justices." And so anybody that's out there right now in La La Land, and I've seen these posts where Trump's guilty of 34 counts. Each one has a 4-year sentence with a maximum sentence of 20 years. And it will end up in the fucking crotch of the people that fucking got rid of Roe versus Wade. Yeah, he's really gonna fucking do fucking time with the Supreme Court. Come on.
In New York, a Class E felony. I have the statistic. A Class E felony in New York, 70 to 90% of the time, first offender. There's no prison time served. It would be probation. And then that 10 to 30%, there's a bunch of extenuating circumstances. Either out of nowhere, calling out the judge constantly, who has the sole discretion to impose the sentence he wants for whatever reason he wants is necessarily wise.
Why would you make the man a martyr?
Well, that's what would happen with a percentage. I mean, I think you have probably like 30% that they don't even want to hear the. You saw the post trial speech today, right? The everything's a sham, the world's a sham, everything's a sham. There's, the mental hospitals got emptied out, all this stuff that's unsubstantiated and just not true. But it doesn't matter to, I would say, what, 30% maybe of the crazies that you could tell them anything.
I don't even know that it's crazy. It's just that
gullible. What's the word?
It's
the ones that followed Manson. Same thing.
Yeah, it's their clubhouse. Like they're like that biker gang and the fucking Any Which Way But Loose.
Right turn, Clyde.
They're that group.
Big dude, I got him burned in my head, man. That belly hanging out of that leather vest.
They're that group. They're not the Angels, that's for sure, or the Outlaws, or any of those.
I'm being implored to tell you that you got a 4.5-star match for Diesel versus Shawn Michaels in your house 795, as well as a 4.25 match, Bret Hart Royal Rumble, and then a 4.5-star tag match with Diesel and Shawn versus Razor 123. That was on Action Zone. So we were incorrect with the earlier TNA stat. You did get much higher scores for your time in WWE. Just like to point that out.
I mean, if he was writing checks, I'd be all in. But he wasn't writing the checks, so I could give two fucks.
Hey, so you know that the AI thing, ChatGPT, right, which has all the information in the world, and you put in a question and it spits it out. So Steve Kaufman, the madman that we have producing our show, he built an engine on the web called KliqGPT. He loaded in transcripts of every show we've done, everything we've said on air. So this site has aggregated a universe that only exists of our opinions. And if you type a question in, it answers it according to the only knowledge it pulls from is our show. Steve, please put something in. How many times has... Boy, that's small. How many times has any version of the word fuck... I actually have the answer to this. Wait, don't show Kev. Is there a way to hide that from Kev for a sec? I asked Waltman because I wanted his opinion. I said, in 100 shows, your boys' podcast, how many fucks were uttered? I want to hear your take.
Did the first word out of his mouth go, fuck? I don't know.
No, but he did say the number would have been doubled if he was the co-host.
Let me think. 100. Let me think.
The audience can throw some in there too. Anyone out there could be part of this. I have some 100th episode statistics, and this is the first one I called Steve about. I said, you got to find out how many fucks we've had. Headingite says 2,500. Mouthpiece Murphy going higher, 40.
Okay, I'm gonna say 5,300.
5,300. Okay, Waltman guessed 8,000. The actual number, Kevin Nash, is 22,437. 22,437.
That I said it or the whole show?
Us. Anywhere on the show. Me, you, if we played a clip that had it. That word has appeared on this show 22,437. If we're gonna make any appeal to YouTube about profanity, that just went out the window when I saw that number.
Rocket came back. What?
How about cock? What do you think on cock? We don't talk enough cock, I'll tell you right now.
2,100.
No, 321.
See? How about fucking?
How about the female version of that with the C?
Vagina?
Yeah. Well, no, I've different
Okay,
letter. See
all
you
right.
next Tuesday.
All right.
What do you think?
I would say no. I don't say that word. That I would think cock
No, you
is.
don't.
I don't say. I don't that word. My wife, man. If I say that, if I say that in her presence, I'm fucked.
But you sometimes use it to describe a male who says something shitty to you online.
Right. Well, I mean, it's two completely different things. There's a vagina. There's a woman's vagina.
You
There's
wouldn't
a way
call a
that
dude calling you out a vagina. You call
No,
him
but I
the
mean,
other.
yeah. But I'm just saying though that if I say yeah, fucking like that fucking cunt is gonna fucking run his dick sucker, that's completely different.
Correct.
See, my dad's favorite, Bob, was cocksucker.
It's a good one.
Yeah,
Compound word. I'm a fan.
Yeah, I mean, he would always motherfucking cocksucker.
Did I tell you my dad's name was Bob too? Did we
No.
do that on the
We did
comparisons? My dad passed when I was 14. You were younger, but I had Bob
So definitely
Oliver.
definitely don't name your kid Bob if
Stay
you
away
want.
from stay away from Bob if you want the long life. And Jesus Christ, if you're in Whitney Houston's family, start taking showers. Get out of the fucking bathtub. The C word, 33.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's once every 3 shows.
Okay, next one. Number of people that have been referred to as douchebags, 61. Number of people referred to as assholes, not number of times it was uttered. People called assholes, 137. People called great workers by Nash, 19. People called pear-shaped, 1. Some statistics from the last 100 shows.
How many Muay Thai
I was going to put that.
bouts did we have?
0.
Okay.
Number of mentions for Trump and number of mentions for Biden. First, which do you think there were more of?
Trump.
Correct. And then throw a number out.
7,000 for Trump.
460.
Wow. And they talk about political talk?
Right, we're not even close.
Where? How about Biden? How many's he got?
254.
So 600 times. Jesus.
But
Six times a 2-hour show we mention either the president or the guy running against them.
Maddow has kicked our ass completely with that statistic, no doubt. We can't hold a candle to her.
So I got to tell everybody out there that says enough of the political talk. Let's go back to the first thing let's go back to the first point I made is I don't give a fuck about your opinion unless you're somebody that I strive to fuck. Like you got to be above me for me to take your opinion. And I just really don't think that I look at Dave Meltzer's office and I just don't think that I don't want that life.
That really affected you, that shot in the
Yeah. God, man, it looked like one of those like Bill Murray lawyer shots when he's the lawyer that you pick up, Bill Murray, and he's God, what movie is that in where he gets the paperwork and he's rubbing it in his crotch it's Wild Thing.
There you go.
Yeah, look at that.
That's a busy guy.
No, man, that's fucking.
What goes on the other side? I see.
I promise you, no fucking. No bitch is taking her panties down in that fucking room.
Under a few lucha masks up on top of the vertical blinds there.
And I'll guarantee you, every one of them he's killed somebody in.
Why wear the mask? You're gonna kill somebody.
Because
Casey never needed the mask.
He's a
Bundy
huge fucking closet NHL fan.
So Steve, bring up the KliqGPT. Let's put a question in.
Why don't I really have any heat with him? Like he doesn't
I don't
bother
think
me.
You do.
No, I mean I'm just saying like he does, like Dave Meltzer does. Like Eric is just.
Eric goes crazy. Vince has always gone crazy around me about him. There's a lot about Dave I respect. I'll probably get flamed for this though, but he's a business.
He's a lawyer.
But he built a business on just covering something that's not even a sport. Almost as if it were a sport, talking about.
But I always liked Dave. I always liked.
Brian.
I was always a Torch guy.
Oh yeah, no, that was always.
Like
Wade.
Wade was because Wade covered it more like a newspaper and not like. It was the difference between reading the Wall Street Journal and the fucking National Enquirer.
Because you thought there was too much rumor-based stuff.
And it was like, I just thought it was kind of a dirt rag. Did I ever tell? This is a funny story. Maybe it's not to anybody else, but I thought it was. But in the early 90s, like if you were caught with a dirt sheet, like that basically meant you were fucking a double agent. Like that's where he was getting, like that's where Dave was getting his information from.
Mm-hmm.
And we were in, I want to think we were in Bowling Green, Kentucky, at Western Kentucky University, and we we're going to wrestle. And Brett found a dirt sheet in the locker room.
You're saying that it meant that there was somebody that was stooging just because the dirt sheet was there?
Yeah. Fuck. Like, who the fuck reads these? Like, that was the whole thing. Like, the boys don't read, we're so far above this. And so he starts reading, and Meltzer is putting over Al Snow. Like, just I mean, you couldn't put over anybody, And fucking Brett goes, "Who the fuck is Al Snow?" And at that point, he was Leif Cassidy or whatever he was.
Leif Cassidy,
and he stands up, walks over, puts his hand and goes, "Hi, I'm Al Snow."
I could see Al doing it all deadpan like that, right?
Yeah, it was so classic, man. And
everyone got along with Al, right?
I said Kip, it was Kip last week. I'll say it's Al this week. Like, you've got to be such a douchebag to fucking to not get along with Al.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, he's about as good of a guy as,
Highest rated episode to date is fittingly episode 16, Remembering Tristan. It's at 244,848 views. This is, I believe, just video. Steve, you can confirm with me on that. Second place, episode 1, Scott Hall. 237,031. And
how about that fucking one with Biden?
I'm gonna get to that. Third place was episode 3, called Big Sexy Hollywood, where we went through all your film work. That's at 93,010. And Joe Biden's doppelganger episode 46 is currently at 11,374. In case you were wondering.
Unbelievable.
Why did they give you that number? Steve, bring up KliqGPT. I want you to you did a thing with it where you told it to make a trivia question about something. So like you could even tell it like create a trivia question based on this show about Al Snow, and it'll find shit that we talked about Al Snow. So here we go. Go God, I cannot read that. All right. Here's a trivia question based on episode 81. In episode 81 of Kliq This, what vehicle does Kevin Nash mention his family had while living in Detroit, which had fake wood on the side? And that would have been the LTD Country Squire.
Yep.
Is the computer correct?
Yep.
So, Kevin, we now have a website that's entire universe is made up of everything in your head and my head and everything that comes out of our mouth. Okay, here's another one. In episode 69 of Kliq This, what humorous question did a fan ask Kevin Nash about the TV show Moonlighting? I don't remember this.
I don't remember it.
What was it? A fan asked, what's your favorite episode of Moonlighting, and how many times did you jack off to Sybil Shepherd? Thank you. See, the computer has the content may violate the usage policies of our website. Steve, make sure you change the policy on KliqGPT. I thought that was amazing. All right, Kev, ready? Here's some TV shows. The over-under of 100. Which of these shows went over 100 episodes? And which are our bitch that had less than 100 episodes? Number 1, Star Trek. The original, not all that shit afterwards.
Below.
Correct. I thought you would have been snagged by that. Only 80 episodes. Sopranos.
God, it's HBO. I'll say below.
Below, 86. David Chase is our bitch. Beverly Hills 90210.
They had more.
293.
Because remember, that was Fox was the first network to not do reruns. They did a season, then when everybody went to reruns, they did another season.
Oh, really? Okay. So,
yeah.
Friends.
10 years at 22.
Yeah. 236. The Wire.
Below.
60. Entourage.
Below.
Yep. Close, though. 96. Mad Men.
Above.
Nope. Close, though. 92. All in the Family.
Above.
Yeah. 205. Taxi.
Above.
Yep. Close, though. 114. Sons of Anarchy.
That was what did that originally play on FX?
Yeah. It was.
I think it was.
Cable.
I'm going to say yeah. It had more.
No. 92. How about Straight Talk with Greg Gagne and Magnum TA, produced by Dom D'Angelo?
They're below us.
21.
Fuck.
Mr. Burger.
You can't eat fucking filet and lobster every day.
Mr. Burger, who's been listening to us, says, lost my dad in 93 and appreciate the memories Kev shared of his dad and son. 100 for T. CK 2008.
Appreciate it.
The segment discussing Soderbergh is so good. Must have been so cool for Kev to work with him. Also, the outro was beautiful. Tom Talker 2000. Being a Massachusetts boy, I have to give a shout out to the passing of 6'11" former Celtics player Bill Walton, who passed at the young age of 71. R.I.P., my friend. I didn't even know he was sick.
I didn't either, man.
I got taken by surprise with that.
Cancer.
What were his best years? Was it the 86 Celtics?
Oh God, no.
Coming off the bench?
No, it was 70. It's the year that they won it. They won it all at Portland. The team was Lionel Hollins, Bob Gross, Maurice Lucas, Walton. Who was the? God, they had a fucking that was the. I think they played the 76ers in the finals.
See, this was before me, before my watching time, so I don't know. UCLA was Walton?
Walton was Walton. I saw Walton lose maybe twice in college. Walton, before Jack Givens, I think Jack Givens beat us. I know Walton against Memphis State in the finals scored 44 points on 21 to 22 shooting. I think that was his junior. Let me think. I know his senior year they got beat in, I think it was the final game against North Carolina State, and the Sports Illustrated cover was David Thompson, like with his hand above the block, going, 76-77 was the year that he was in the NBA Finals. That was my senior year in high school.
So he was already in the NBA in 72.
Let's see.
Portland?
No, he was
74.
4.
Okay.
He sat out one whole year, he had like foot problems, and
that was later though, right? Wasn't it?
No, it was.
No?
I mean, with the Trailblazers, I think that
Oh.
I was such a Bill Walton fan that I went to this artist and had him draw, because back then you couldn't find T-shirts, and I also had a buddy of mine send me a UCLA practice jersey.
Wow.
He was probably, Chamberlain was my favorite player, and then when Walton came along, it was like a really close.
Dom says he missed 3 seasons with the foot injury.
Yeah, one of them was, I think, with the Clippers. I think he went from Portland to the Clippers, because I remember it was like my sophomore year. We played in the San Diego Cabrillo Classic or whatever it was called, and we went to the Clippers game, and he was sitting with a boot on and old school crutches.
Didn't have those S crutches.
Yeah, 80-82 was, and that was pretty much my sophomore and junior year.
Was Pete Maravich contemporary?
I drank with fucking Maravich on Bourbon Street when I went to visit Tulane University.
Wow.
At Pat O'Brien's, and Otto Moore, who was from Detroit. I drank with those guys. There was a couple of the guys that I played. I think Freddie Holberg was his name or something like that. White boy that was a shooting guard for LSU. He was there that night, but I remember fucking drinking with Maravich.
Was he a wild man? I mean, all the stories about Pete were like,
fuck, man. It just, he was definitely.
Cavs? Who do you put? Cavs, right?
Who?
Maravich.
He the Jazz.
Oh, Utah.
But it was New Orleans.
New Orleans
Jazz, played with the New Orleans Jazz.
Utah was in the 80s. They moved, early 80s,
yeah.
Right? They moved to Utah. Got it. Very good.
He played with the Hawks. Pete played with the Hawks.
Maravich played for the Hawks?
Yeah, Pete Maravich played for the Hawks.
I don't remember any of that. Oh, goodness. Another question from Tom Talker. He had a second one. He said, I like hearing your crew members' point of view. Adds another dynamic to the show. I'd like to see them featured more to get their opinions on various topics you talk about.
Let's put them on. Let's put them on tonight, and we'll give them even a warning that they're going to have to give us their opinion of this travesty that happened today in New York City.
Everything's a travesty. The trial was a travesty. The country's a travesty. The judge is a travesty. Everything's a work. Everything's a sham. Greg Trumbold said, I know it will never happen, in all caps, but having Mrs. Nash on the pod as a guest one time would be amazing. Would love to hear her versions of these stories.
Well, believe it or not, my wife didn't travel with me during my wrestling career, so.
Well, she could still speak to all the.
She could talk about that.
The airport story alone. I would love to hear from her perspective. Maybe get your mother-in-law on for that one as well.
Yeah, that's like asking fucking asking Jackie O what shoes she had on the fucking day fucking her husband took one in the Bean in Daly Plaza. When they're in fucking she started with me today, so we're going to Detroit. My sister and my sister-in-law is retiring from Little Caesar, and we will be having round pizzas, and so she's retiring from Little Caesar. So we're going to go to the Tiger game, and her last hurrah is she's going to grab one of the boxes for the Nash crew. So the Nash K crew will be at the baseball game. It's been so long since me and my brother have been at a baseball game together. This is going to be epic. I think the last time Mark and I went to a game together, we had our fucking gloves, so we may have to go. I may have to like bring my diesel mitt from MTV softball game, just to have a glove. I think he'd pop huge if I fucking had that in Tamara's purse.
Showed up with the glove.
Put the glove on.
That would be epic. You got to do that.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it.
So what were you talking to Tamara about?
No, I can't now because you'll listen to the show.
Oh, he listens to the show?
Oh, I'm fucked.
Oh,
yeah, fuck me.
What was Tamara objecting to today?
Oh, she says to me, she goes, "Oh, on the way back, we've got like 48 minutes to make our flight home to Daytona. It's the last flight."
Oh, not again.
I just looked at her. I said, "Babe, come on." It's like, you can't fucking possibly like be going there already. Like, really? Like,
wasn't she there last week? Wasn't she in Atlanta last week?
Yeah, I said, like, you, and then so my niece and Katie, they both left on was it Wednesday? Yeah, on Wednesday. No, Tuesday. They left on Tuesday. So, of course, I'm dropping them off at the Daytona Beach Airport at 6:15, 6:18 for like a 7:27 flight. I mean, you could low crawl under fucking actual gunfire and make it to the gate with an hour to spare. So I'm like, ugh. And I just said, just don't say anything. Don't say anything. People are just going to be nervous travelers. So now my wife we're home and she's tracking their flight, and they've backed the jet. Of course they backed the jet out the minute the plane every plane that leaves Daytona Beach is packed. So they backed the jet up, but there's a thing called the Craig Gate in Florida. There's a lot of people that don't know this.
Is that like Watergate? And is it
kind of?
Right.
But it's called the Craig Gate. So in the kind of the border of Florida, it's this area that all planes have to go in and out through this specific area, because you have the Jacksonville Naval Base. So that keeps all air traffic in this Craig Gate.
Commercial traffic has to stay, you're
yes.
saying, away from the, okay.
Yeah. And some jack off in a fucking Cessna also.
Right.
So when you back out, I mean, I saw a thing that, well, I'll go back to that, but so they back out, and she's texting Tamara, my nieces. She's like, "We've been sitting out here for 15 minutes. We haven't moved away from the gate." And I said, Yeah, babe. I said, they basically packed that flight at 1 minute and 35 seconds. An hour and 35 minutes is what they've got allowed for that flight. I said, it's a 51-minute flight. I've actually done it in 47. I said, they're not even close to being, they've landed 7 minutes earlier than they were supposed to, and now they're panicking, and they land, and I said, basically, like, when you get out, they'll be like, don't go fucking crazy searching for information. I said, when you get out, right there at the gate, there'll be a board, and it will be everybody that's on that flight. Your connecting flights information is on that board. So I said, when you get off it, wait. I said, if it's not on H, it will fucking switch to H, and you'll see Huntsville, and it'll tell you what gate they're at. They landed at like B6 and left out at B33. So they didn't have to. I mean, I'm just like, and it was all over with. And I was just like, God, would you just like?
People get nervous when they travel.
Why?
It's travel anxiety. It's a thing. Because there's a lot of things out of people's control. The schedule, they have
That's
no
exactly
control over.
it.
Delays, they have no
That's
control.
the whole thing.
So just submit to it, right?
Yeah, because guess what? No matter what happens, unless you're dead, there's always going to be another flight.
Another flight.
And worst case scenario, man, if it's like push comes to shove, they didn't have the option. But if you're 25 years old, man, you can get on the tram and go to Avis and pick up a luxury car and just sit in the fucking passenger side and shut the fuck up and let me drive.
True that. Listen, if you weren't going to use that box in Detroit for the Tigers game in a couple of weeks, you know how you could have gotten those tickets? Game time.
Boom.
Major League Baseball season is here. We're in full swing. The boys of summer are out there. Use Game Time to get your tickets. Okay, they are the authorized ticket marketplace of Major League Baseball, which makes getting tickets faster and easier. Prices on the Game Time app actually go down the closer you get to first pitch. I've used this myself. I got Bruce tickets the morning of the show in Jersey. I sat 19 rows from the damn stage. They have killer last-minute deals that pop up. All in prices. The views from the seat, which is my favorite, you get the arena or the stadium schematic comes up. You click, they show you all the available seats with the price right on it. You tap it, and it puts you in that seat so you can see your perspective of the field, the court, the stage, whatever you're going to. So here is...
Can we look up, let's look up Tigers. Let's look up the Tigers.
Steve, if you can grab the Tigers game.
Look up the Tigers on June 8th.
All right, let's see what's available. You may want to upgrade these tickets. I know the booth is great. The box is great.
The box. I park in special parking. I go up an elevator.
It's catered, right? You have the chafing dishes.
Everything. I've already got the non-alcoholic beer ready.
All right, here we are.
So the Brewers. Here we go.
Look at those seats available, guys. Look at how close you could be. 60. I'm looking at $61. You're practically on the damn field. This is amazing. So you click one of those, and it shows you, there's your perspective from that seat. Okay, this app is unbelievable. Game Time. If you go online, it's going to be gametime.co, C-O. But just drop the app on your phone. The
Look at that,
dumped in your wallet.
134, 2 rows back behind the dugout.
On the dugout. It's amazing.
Pull that like view up.
This is great. 2 seats together. Steve, you're about to buy the tickets, for God's sakes. What are you doing? But this is the real deal, what you're looking at here. It's real time of this game and every Major League Baseball game and every show and every concert and every basketball game. They're all on there, okay? So I want you to put the Game Time app on your phone. They have last-minute deals, flash deals. This is AEW Collision. if you're going to be so unfortunate as to go there.
Let's see what's available.
I think the whole arena we're looking at there. So the $16 you can attend for, Kevin. How about that?
Wow.
Fifth row. $16.
Not fifth row.
It says section 103, lower section, fifth row. $16. That's why those lower seats are always sold. They're priced well. Guys, flash deals, zone deals, all-in pricing, seat views, the lowest price guaranteed, okay? Game Time's going to credit you 110% of the difference if you find a lower price, your purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. Now, we want you to get a deal, so here it is. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use the code KLIQ, K-L-I-Q, get $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code KLIQ, KLIQ, for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute deals, lowest price guaranteed.
So you could go to an AEW show and make $4.
That's right. Guys, use that $20 on your ticket.
Hey, man.
They're paying you to go. And join our people here at KliqThisTV.com. Join the 11 Soft Club. We got a bunch of people in the house today, a full house for the 100th episode. You'll be seeing their comments throughout the show and get to ask your question and be here for the live taping, which is what it's all about. KliqThisTV.com, the 11 Soft Club. So, Kev, there was some news today. Imagine taking 34 inches in the buttocks. That's kind of what happened in Lower Manhattan today to a former president. Told he was the former president.
Well, you know, and this is... anytime you get fucked by a pecker, not good.
Pecker, right? Gotcha.
Pecker, it was downhill from there. Because...
should have known.
Well, no, because Pecker went up there and like, I'm his friend, but yeah, I'm going to tell the truth. And then that Hope Hicks, or whatever her name is, she fucking walked up there. She fucking said the same story. And then you have fucking Cohen go up there and say the same story. And everybody's going, he's a fucking liar. Well, fuck, the other two people said the same fucking story. It's like...
yeah. Well, but people are getting very excited about this. But there's a few things people have to realize, Kev, right? Like, first of all, he'll be free pending appeal, right? And they're going to appeal all of this. So the appeals are going to take a year, right? It's certainly after the election. And he won't be... there probably won't be prison time anyway. But
he's not doing a fucking day of time.
No. Although antagonizing the judge who has sole discretion is a great idea.
If I was Biden and I got elected, the first thing I would do is I'd pardon Donald Trump.
For what purpose?
Because he's 78 years old. Let him go play golf. He's done.
Well, this is just the first trial, though. There's the Florida trial is still pending. That's the documents.
He doesn't have the ability.
One for
fuck it.
Pardon them all, you're saying?
Yeah. He's 70, but he's 78. It's like...
I think maybe just people just to get him out of the sphere, to normalize things. He's a composer of chaos for the feeble-minded. So maybe
but I mean, somebody's got to fuck the ugly girl,
right? Which coverage did you watch today? It was on all of them.
I watched. I came home. I was like flabbergasted because I left the cleaning people were over today. So I left the TV on because my dog likes the TV to be on. And for some reason, he just gravitates to MSNBC. Don't know why. So I came home, and Tamara wasn't home yet. So I said, I'm looking at that, and I said, I don't want to hear their fucking bullshit. I said, I want to hear fucking, like this is the one time in my life I want to listen to Fox News.
Because you want some optimism. You want to hear how...
Yeah, I just don't, I mean, it's like, MSNBC is just sometimes, man. It's there's so many times in the last 6 months that it's like Tamara and I just look at each other, just like, so what do you want to watch tonight? She's like, see if you can find a fucking shitty movie on Netflix, like anything, anything but Talking Heads, because we're over it.
Yeah.
And but this was kind of interesting today. But I said I don't want to hear MSNBC's bullshit, and I don't want to hear fucking CNN try to be like, you know. I want to hear the fucking home team. I want to hear what the home team has to say about fucking getting swept in the series. And I don't know what the guy's name is. He's a dark-headed guy in the afternoon. I posted a picture of him on Instagram. But when I left the house today, I didn't think there would be that they would come to a verdict that quickly, and I really thought, I mean, it would be a hung jury. I thought there'd be a mistrial. So that, I don't know what that guy's name is. But what he's saying right there is, I once ate a cock this big. So that's what he's saying right there.
The whiff he's probably talking about right there.
Yeah. His name was Tuna Can Tommy. And a cock the fucking whiff of a can of tuna. So I watched him, and he was just basically saying how it was just, it's played in perfect to fucking, you know, what Donald Trump had planned. And I'm looking at the picture of Trump leaving, like, Trump sold it today. He came out, he made it's a sham. He said the same thing like 33 times. You know, it was like when George Foreman was 42 and he fought Holyfield that was 28. It was just like, he didn't know what the fuck hit him, you know. So, yeah, it was one of those deals where I love people that have said, like, oh, you hate Trump. It's just like, number one, I don't hate anybody. But at the same time, it's like, he really, man, he's taken a lot. That 7 weeks in that courtroom, you know, and I mean, it was horrible conditions. They didn't do him any favors, but at the same thing, it's just like, they were talking today, and it was MSNBC I was watching, and they said that during deliberations, they brought Donald Trump a television. And the one lady said, in all my years of covering a court case, I've never seen any of them go that far out of the way to bring in, you know, a television for the.
Oh, it had been more than beyond a fair trial. You know, there have been defendants remanded into custody for not addressing the bench as sir or madam, the judge, during the trial, seen as disrespectful, and it's happened. And he has been allowed to blather on and criticize. The gag order only pertains to the jury, family of the prosecution or the judge. He's free to say anything he wants about the judge, and clearly has. And this mansion has allowed it. So he's had more than a fair opportunity. The red carpet has been rolled out in the federal court for him. TV, I didn't even know about the TV. That's interesting.
Yeah, they got a TV today. So, I mean, I look at it and I say, like, I don't know what the fuck's going to happen in November. I don't think this helps Donald Trump in any form or fashion.
You know what it'll help him with, Kevin? Fundraising. I think those that were...
Dude, man, like, maybe it's the Detroit in me, but fuck, man, like, once you fucking got a felony and you're in the system, and it's like, I don't know if I want to fucking, like, drive to the liquor store with you necessarily.
But I think the big donors, there are a couple they talked about on the news today that kind of left the Trump camp, stopped donating after January 6th because of the horrors that he clearly thought was okay.
So 34
Who are
felony
back now. Who are back.
34 felony counts will draw those people back
because of unjust prosecution.
Did they? My whole thing is like, I didn't see any of the trial because nobody did.
Nobody did, right?
Unless you were covering it, and that was all biased. So, but I know that there were 12 people in that jury box that saw the trial, that asked questions about the trial, and I don't think, and this is just me thinking, and God forbid if, I don't think that walking out of that courtroom with fucking every camera on earth is now going to know who these people are in this society, and fucking in 17 seconds saying guilty, 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 guilty. I don't think that's fucking a plus for these people.
No, but they can still retain their anonymity. They are free to talk to the press now.
Well, it's not the lotto
that they can.
No, there's like there's no. It'll get out.
Mm.
It'll get out. They're not going to redact their names. So I just look at that and I say, you know.
On a slightly different note, Raw this week, I noticed. So let's take the Damien Priest angle, right? Paul, the booking team there. I keep saying Paul, but I know there's others involved, right? So there's a lot of pieces on the board now, kind of jockeying around Damien Priest, and it's interesting to see that after weeks of nothing happening, right, between WrestleMania and the following pay-per-view overseas.
Well, I mean, I thought some shit happened at King of the Ring.
But now, that's what I'm saying now, it seems that there's a lot of storyline all of a sudden after.
Well, they're going to the whatever it is, the Schlock in Scotland,
right.
Whatever that, the
castle,
the castle thing, and with Drew being Scottish, you would think that. But then when you watch Monday Night Raw, you look at it and I just really think, and we were talking about this in the pre-show for a minute. I just think that Damien has really fucking risen to the occasion. Like when he went toe to toe, and I watched it. I want to think Tuesday night. Yeah, I watched it Tuesday night, and I was just like, he's like Drew's a big old fucker. I'm like, Damien's like, I mean, I've been around Damien, but Damien's star power gave him the appearance of being bigger than he actually is. Like, he just looked like a star. He looked so comfortable. He looked like he should have that belt.
Is this a case of someone, because they were given a chance? Because I'll admit my flaws. I wasn't on the Damien Priest train, even when he won the title at WrestleMania.
I was when he was in NXT. I thought he was going to be a. Scott and I both thought he was Scott, but Scott was the one, that really Scott was dead on with him, as was Kid.
But now, seeing him in a different light, I think can change your mind.
And I think, like, how much of that is the fact of, Rhea is so good.
Yeah.
She's a once in a generation talent. So when you're packaged with her and you're going out and she's doing a lot of the mic work, like how much of that is now he's carrying the torch along with the strap. I mean, things happen. Like Triple H decides that he's going to do the curtain call with his buddies, and lo and behold, he doesn't win the King of the Ring. Austin wins the King of the Ring. I'm just saying.
Going back, okay, yes,
You know,
correct.
and so that's what happens in this industry, because I'll say it 1,000 times, I'll say it 1,000 more times, unless maybe our computer says I don't. But
we'll find out.
You don't have to hit a curveball. You don't have to throw 100 miles an hour. You don't have. It's whatever is fucking written on a piece of paper happens, and if you just so happen to fucking click with what they're doing, sky's the limit. Austin's probably the biggest star the business has ever seen, and Priest is to me as big a star as they've got right now.
Really?
Yeah.
So you're all in.
I'll tell you another one that, and it's, I know that there's it's like Steiner's kid.
Bron, yeah.
Fuck, you cannot. And this is a situation where you watch him do shit, and he like covers. He's like in the balcony, and spears somebody in like 13 seconds later on foot. Like he's.
Oh, when
like,
he came out, you're talking about when he came
Jesus.
out in the yeah.
Yeah, and the thing is, like he ran in the NFL. He was a running back at, I think, at Kennesaw State University, and if I'm not mistaken, he ran like a 4.23 or something like that. And he's a big fucking
For
kid.
being big, that's amazing.
Yeah, and I talked to him, and I talked to Robbie, his father, and and Robbie wanted him to because he was going to go to Baltimore as a free agent, and I called Paul and I said, we got a Steiner that runs a fucking 4.2. He's impressive as fuck. Because I mean, I've known fucking him forever. I mean, my son played with him when they were fucking little kids.
I remember you telling me that.
Yeah. So, yeah. So it's just like, so I'm apprehensive on because I'm like, he's fucking one of my good friend's fucking kid. I've known him forever, but it's just like, fuck that, man. He's a stud. Mm-hmm. Like him getting in his face saying, why wasn't I a king of the ring? I'm like, yeah, motherfucker, why wasn't he a king of the ring? So.
Well, they clearly have plans for him.
Well, you have to.
I saw a shot from, it must have been a fan cam of him coming out to make that save, to interfere.
That tackle.
Yeah. And he's in the ramp, right? He's on, not the ramp, the side entrance. And I'm looking at the distance, and I'm watching what's happening. I said, he's going to fucking miss it.
It's like a fucking wolf spider.
And
it's like trying to kill a wolf spider in your house. If you don't get it with the first fucking swat, everybody's running around like it's a fucking tarantula or something.
My God. Kind of amazing. Edge, I guess Adam Copeland, we're gonna call him. The leg injury, he's 50, right? And I said to you today,
Night of the Skywalkers too.
Right, a little corny action. I said he's 50, and you said to me, he shouldn't do that at 30.
You should never do that. I'm telling everyone out there, please. I love Mick Foley to death. Mick Foley, what he did at Hell in the Cell was not a work. It was a stunt. We're not stuntmen. We're fucking workers. Fucking your number one job as a professional wrestler. And ask the fucking guy that pretty much fucking knows this fucking business. You're supposed to fucking leave the ring in the same shape you walk into it. That's the beauty of the work.
Protect your opponent.
It's a work.
Yeah.
Why?
So he's come out and said it was stupid.
But it's too late.
It's too late. But to have others hear the message, I think some guys wore that kind of danger like a badge of honor. Said, all for the pop of the crowd, and leaving it all out there, and going through 675 tables but he came out and said, no, it was wrong. I shouldn't have done it. I was stupid, which is probably good for younger workers to hear.
Yeah, but they're not going to listen. You know what a young guy does when an old timer says it was stupid? Says, yeah, of course it was stupid because you're 50. That's what they say. Because you can't do it anymore. I can. And I can do it off a skateboard.
So all right. So what about the promotion? Are there guidelines that should be laid out for the workers to prevent these things? Because if somebody's going to kind of go into business for themselves and do something like that, even though they shouldn't.
Well, I mean, I look at Black, who was laying on the table.
Yeah.
And I question, okay, guess what? Edge isn't on top of the cage unless you say, yeah, come off the top of the cage, frog splash me, I'll be on a table. I don't know whether or not it'll splinter and go in my fucking spinal cord, my kidneys, my liver. I have no idea. I've never done it before. But you know what? Let's fucking do it. But I'll be goddamned if I'm going to fucking not wear my seatbelt.
But, so, I think back to things like Bill Watts, right? When he was restrictive about what could go on. Nothing outside the ring for the first 4 matches. I forget all this shit, but you know what I'm talking about. No off the top rope until... And intellectually, I understand. Everyone made fun of it, but I understand...
Yeah, but he also picked up the fucking mats outside.
But I understood why he was saying it. So I think people would be critical of, and they were this year when a certain federation said, anything in the ring has to go through us first. But this is why, isn't it? This is why a Tony Khan should say, anything that's going to go on in that cage that would be considered risky, you got to run by us first.
Did anybody see Tony Khan's, it was on Instagram, his reaction to the flamethrower thing?
No.
Where he fucking rolls down the entire ramp?
Oh, no. I would love to have seen that.
Steve, can you find that? Do you guys know what I'm talking about?
No, I know the deal.
Wesley, yes, saw it. Okay, we've got to find this. This is a good one. This is a good one. I mean, Tony, I love you to death, man, but dude, you got to stop. It's just.
You think there's any truth to the story I saw where he was disappointed in Warner Brothers Discovery's offer for them to renew the TV?
Meltzer came back with, "That's not true."
I did see that too.
So okay, here we go. Hold on. Here we go. Cocodito. Here we go.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
The only thing missing right there is Jerry fucking Lewis. What the fuck was that?
It makes it a comedy spot, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, but what was the whole flame? What the
Well, his neck's better. It's good to see.
So.
Saw the ankles again, though.
Yeah, but once again, though, it's like, so you distend disbelief to the point where fucking people can set each other on fire with flamethrowers. If I can just watching him fucking gives me CTE.
This is the endless well of money. It allows you to do anything without consequence. And that's what you're seeing here. But I just want to go back to Adam Copeland for a minute. So would you place restrictions if you were Tony or any federation boss, Paul? Would you place restrictions on the in-ring activity, thus not giving the worker freedom to call it in the ring, which many a good match has been had by experienced workers doing that. Do you take that away? Because that's the only way to ensure, and you're not even ensuring anything can happen in a match, but really risky stuff like that.
Well, I remember when they came to me and they said, we'd like you and Paul to have a Hell in the Cell. I said, I'll have a Hell in the Cell as long as it stays in the cell. And then they said, no, this will fucking suck. This will be a horrible match. We'll put Foley in as referee just to give it buffer because Nash isn't going to. And so I'm just like, the psychology of a fucking cage match, especially one with a roof, is, and Paul has been running from me the entire angle, is for him to fucking, and I should have beat him. I mean, I should have beat him in that cage. It wouldn't. He could have turned around and beat me a week later. Mm-hmm. I should have beat him. But him and Flair beat me and Sean. They sent us home for Raw. So not only do we lose the pay-per-view, Shawn Michaels and I both, who are the baby faces, mm-hmm. but the heels show up and we don't show up to TV.
Oh.
So we're just absolute fucking cunts.
Right, jobbed out right there. Yeah, I forgot about the Raw thing. Yeah, the follow-up show.
And you know what the thing is like, I wasn't in charge. It wasn't my call. I'm not gonna bitch. Got paid the same if I can go home Monday as I did to show up. So, but if you'd have told me like that's it was the same as when they told me I had a ladder match. And I said, how am I going over? And they said, you're not. I said, so what you're telling me is I've got to take a fucking bump off a 20-foot ladder. No, not necessarily. I said, no, I have to. That's what you're saying. As you're saying. And I said, so I got there, I looked at it, I got up on top of the ladder, I said, I've never done this before in my life. But I will set up a table so I can fucking, when I go to take a bump, I've got something to aim for so I can try to get my body as flat as possible. So, and I gave myself a fucking horrible concussion. So it's not like I haven't done stupid fucking things at 55 years old. 'Cause I was 55 or 56 years old when I did that. It was against my better judgment. But I also went home and shaved my fucking head. And when they called me to come back, I said, have you not seen my Twitter page? They said, what do you mean? I said, Michael, he goes, oh, fuck, man. What happened to your hair? It's great. You cut all your hair off. I said, yeah. Like, I took it as I was being let go when you told me to have a ladder match at fucking 57 years old. Mm. Like, that's, I took that as thus my lack of admiration for fucking retirement matches.
Right. So the responsibility lies solely with the workers, what we're
Absolutely.
saying. Okay.
In retrospect, it would have been just easier for me to say, I'm not doing that.
Right.
But wait till I got to Baltimore.
To say it.
Yeah, I'm not doing that and then not go to the ring.
Right. Gotcha. Well.
But but I would never do, they knew I would never do that to Paul. So.
What discussion did you have with him beforehand? Did you talk about Black being the guy on the table?
He was running around. He was so busy running around doing so many other, he had fucking 10 hats on at that time. We had no time to put anything together. And that's a match you got to.
I was going to say that was probably part of the mistake.
You can't call that on the fucking fly.
Right.
So we had a couple seconds, and I looked. I remember there was one point where I put the ladder. And I said, "No, I got to put it up another rung, and I got to fucking go over and do something to clothesline him and go fucking set the ladder." But it's one of those things where just like, I think it's been outlawed in most states now. I think they call it an abortion.
Yeah, not most, but some. Kev, it's time for the tap out this week, and it's going to be brought to us by Manscaped.
Please don't tell me it's that ladder match. I'll tap out right now.
It is not. Fellas, blink if you haven't purchased your Father's Day gift yet. We thought so. See you out there. Today's tap out is brought to you by Manscaped, the leaders in the below-the-waist grooming. Maybe your pops has had a bush since the 70s, and that's okay. Our friends at Manscaped have crafted the total package for his special day. You know what happened the other day with my Manscaped? I'm downstairs in the living room, and I'm hearing a buzzing. Sometimes people are doing their lawns or the blowers are going outside. So there's frequently things in the sphere in city living that make noise. But it wasn't stopping. And I stopped everyone. I said, what is that? My Manscaped went on in the shower, on the shelf in the shower, on its own. I guess reminding me that it was time to whack away.
That's when your wife said, by the way, if you've been watching fucking reruns of the Mod Squad link.
A leaping fro does not belong down there. Listen, guys, whether it's for the boys downstairs, dad's beard maybe, or even the best pair of underwear out there, Manscaped has all his bases covered. Head over to manscaped.com. You're going to get 20% off plus free shipping with the code KLIQ, KLIQ. All right, trust Manscaped here. Remember that old beard trimmer that Dad's been using since you were a kid? Time for the upgrade. Introducing the face shaver that's a must-have for the smooth finish that Daddy loves. The Manscaped Handyman. Powerful and compact, the face shaver isn't just for home. It's perfect for quick touch-ups on the go. Precision blade, clean shave every time. If he wants to rock a scruff for your beard, then the Beard Hedger Pro Kit is the ultimate beard maintenance for him. That's what Kev uses. The all-in-one kit includes the beard. Watch your clit if you're going to use this, ladies. The Beard Hedger, Manscaped's most advanced beard trimmer. Shampoo, conditioner, oil, balm for the beard. It's all there. And don't forget, summer's just around the corner, okay? The Performance Package 5.0 Ultra is the perfect gift for him, designed with the hairy daddies in mind downstairs, okay? Boxers 2.0, I have a couple of pairs myself. Guys, 20% off plus free shipping. The code is KLIQ, KLIQ, at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com. Use the code KLIQ, KLIQ. Never forget where you came from, if you know what I mean. Happy Father's Day from Manscaped. All right, Kev, the tap out. Let's celebrate with Eric ESTRADA. I'll leave it there. Celebrate being the operative term.
Ooh, Michael Jackson.
There's a bit of an outfit on Eric. I don't know if you were a fan of Chips back in the day.
Tap. He's not even singing.
Not even the solo?
No, he's done.
He's done. You don't even get the solo part.
No,
He had great teeth,
him.
didn't he?
Whatever.
Fuck him. very, very
obviously
stiff
not,
on
obviously,
Eric.
yeah, obviously not fucking one of the boys.
No. All right, it's time for Dear Sexy. Two letters.
I was on a flight with him once.
Were you really? Eric
Yeah.
ESTRADA. He's
Eric
still with
ESTRADA
us.
was overseas. He had like some really young girl with him. He had the fucking Ultimate Warrior fucking oversized
face paint.
No, oversized fake teeth.
Oh, right.
Big fucking just big veneers, and I just like.
If you blacklighted those motherfuckers, they'd be look like you have a mouthpiece in. Did you talk to him at all, or just observed from the bush?
Fucking drinking my wine.
What's there to say, right? Punch.
Yeah. But I can't really remember a fucking episode of fucking. Do you remember an episode of Chips?
No, I remember the theme song in the opening where him and Larry Wilcox played John. Dear Sexy, it's time for. These are actual dear.
Why is it got to be gay?
Abby. Well, two men holding hands on motorbikes. Maybe they weren't holding hands. They were just. The posture. It was a little bit of the posture. It was a little bit of very, very happy to be in each other's company.
I think you were.
Nothing wrong with it.
I think you were raped by a policeman.
Could be. That was a priest. Dear Sexy, this is actual Dear Abby letters if they were written to Kevin Nash for advice. First one, Dear Sexy, my husband and I have been married 2 wonderful years. I was recently in a serious car accident and am currently unable to drive. The person who mainly drives me around is my husband. Recently, my husband announced that he will no longer take me to buy my birth control pills because he's ready to have a child and doesn't want to wait. Since I'm out of work, I have no money of my own and must rely solely on him for support. Because he's no longer willing to provide me with the funds to buy birth control, I'm unable to ask anyone else to give me a ride to the pharmacy. When we have sex, he refuses to use protection. Although I want children in the future, I do not feel ready to have any now. We were married young and still have years ahead of us. Please tell me what to do. I'm afraid if I refuse to have a baby with him, he will leave, or when I'm ready, decide our time to start a family has passed. I love him and would do anything for him. Should I just give in? Is it really worth a fight? That's from Not Quite Ready in Colorado.
I'm pretty sure that rape is still rape if you're fucking married to the person. If you're not going to take me to, if you're not ready to have a child, like what is this guy? One of the Supreme Court justices? Her husband?
No, but he's kind of cornering her here.
He doesn't get a. It's her body. If she doesn't want to have a kid yet, just back the fuck up. Worst case scenario, make sure you blow him every fucking morning before he gets. Knock that fucking load down.
Empty the chamber, right? There's no chance. That's great advice. That's the reason we do this show. Dear Sexy, my husband Bud and I have been married more than 50 years. It has been a great half-century. We have good jobs and a fantastic family. A problem has arisen recently that I need advice about. When I met Bud, I wasn't a virgin. I wasn't promiscuous, but I did end several dates with a grand finale. Bud knew about it and was okay with it then, and he's still okay with it now. But he keeps asking me to describe those dates down to the most intimate detail. He says they're a part of our family history, just like our school activities and other events with family and friends before we started going together. I'm not sure I can remember everything, but Bud wants to hear about those things. What do you think about this? This is from Caught Off Guard. 50 years.
Do you know how fucking there's this period, and it's weird, and every guy goes through it, where
you got to blow a cop on a motorcycle.
No, it's 70 years old. They start to say things that are kind of semi-inappropriate. Then like 75, they're just fucking complete pervs.
The dirty old man.
Yeah, and I think that's what this cat's turning into. So he he obviously, I mean, he needs more. He's at the point now where he doesn't give a shit about having sex. He just wants to get a nut, and he just wants to have something in his Rolodex, to toss one off to. This is obviously way before Pornhub.
Right.
But I would if this was somebody that was sitting across from me, I'd say, just fucking tell every fucking story started with, well, the guy's name was Ed, and you talking about a fucking cock.
11
I mean,
soft.
his cock was twice the size of yours soft. And just see how many of those stories of how small your cock is
He wants to hear.
before he vomits. And say, hey, listen, honey, I know we've been married 50 years. Would you like to hear some of those stories again? No, I'm good. Fucking asshole guys.
Love it. Pee break?
Sure.
All right.
I got Tony Khan fucking duct taped in my bathroom.
Definitely has turned calm.
Yeah, I was listening. Steve, you did an outfit change. You Liza Minnelli here all of a sudden.
We're doing
you
a bit.
put the button down. So that's fantastic. Good for you.
So did fucking Dom, but he had to go record with another.
Who's he doing tonight, Rob?
I think he had Magnum TA, and now he has Rob.
Right. What a day, huh? Dom,
but he put on a collar shirt also.
Hauling in the money.
Or maybe he probably has a tank top that has a collar on it, is what I imagine. Hey.
How are the people doing here? How are the folks? Everyone still with us? No one powdered, did they? You might be muted, like Steve. Yep, still.
Yeah, we can't. Steve, we can't hear you, buddy.
You should.
There you go.
We can now.
We're back.
We didn't for a moment.
We're back.
One too many things at the same time.
Thank you, Epic. Heading 8. David. Thank you, David. Tell me that anyway, even if it hasn't. Michael Carter should have joined this forever ago. Well, you're here now.
Yeah.
We got another 100 in the chamber. You can. We're happy to have you whenever you joined us, Michael. Just glad you're here now.
Also, Wes just said Bud the Cuck in the private chat, and I was really curious.
Bud's a freak.
That's totally what it's all about, right? It's turning him on to hear about his old lady.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
getting plowed in the 40s.
What the fuck, right? Guys are so fucked up.
Takes all kinds.
What's weird is I'm sure I've heard like informal studies that people who are into like cucking are more than likely politically conservative. Like if you ever look at a pool boy scandal of like the pool boy fucked my wife and then I tried to pay him $1 million and that wasn't enough or some shit. Usually those people are more conservative than liberal.
Okay.
It's anecdotal.
Right.
The people asked for this type of commentary.
Mickey gets it. Everyone's
Mickey
dressed up.
gets it.
So sophisticated.
Yes, they all put on their button downs. Mickey, I
didn't realize we're having a fucking gala recording of the 100 podcast tonight.
Well, I mean, I knew when I walked into the lanai on my way into the condo and there was a red carpet. I said, "Oh fuck."
Well played, Mr. Epic.
Mr. Nice. Epic, nice. See?
Send photos of Mrs. Epic. Yeah, we are certainly.
That's what Damien said. That's what Damien said. Yeah, is your wife going to be there?
That's right. We are the most well-dressed podcast, certainly right now. Certainly in the wrestling sphere.
Most certainly wrestling podcast, yes.
So, Mickey, I'm going to do your spot now. I will announce our stuff soon. We're still working on the labeling, Kevin. We're solid. I opted. I thought solid.
Are we still live?
We're talking. We don't have to be back yet.
We'll cut this part.
No, we won't. We gotta leave this. So I have to say something.
Uh-oh.
Before we go into Mickey.
What happened in the bathroom?
No. Hyman, who's my cannabis, we're going to be in Massachusetts and Oklahoma. So we're expanding.
Expanding. Very good.
So if you want to be the highest person in the room, go with Hyman.
Hell yeah.
So look for Jackknife in Massachusetts and look for Jackknife in Oklahoma. And you'll be helping the Kevin Nash Scholarship Fund.
And if you're looking for a special drinkable high, you'll be helping the Mia Oliver College Fund very shortly. But let me do the spot and
yeah, we're gonna fuck off for that.
All right, yeah. Hold on. It'd be help if I have the fucking copy up. God damn it.
Can I say something that
anything you want? It's your goddamn show.
I never ever fucking blow you on this enough. You're so fucking good at segueing and fucking making these. Like, I could never do the commercials. It's like,
Oh, getting into a spot, you mean?
but you're
going into the spot.
Jesus, that fucking DraftKings. That's more than I speak.
The disclaimer.
That's more than I speak in a week. It's like, I just want to say you're really. I mean, you fucking.
Okay,
I'm very. I did well in choosing you as my partner.
Good. I agree. You sure.
But I just want to know that before me. Can you tell me about the guys before me?
Well, there was a worker named. There was a. Yeah, I know that's so not this show.
Fuck. Hey, it's
before
100,
you,
man.
Kev, there was a guy named Buck Zumhoff with a very long antenna on the radio. Rock and roll Buck. This is the high spot of the show, always. So it's brought to you by Mickey Ray Sinatra and Courtney at Get Blitzed Lit Aid. What am I talking about? I'm talking about nano-infused Delta-9 THC sipping syrup, okay? This is, I've tried it. Kev's tried. Kev's friends have come over and tried it. Teaspoon is all the magic you need, okay? This is super potent stuff. It's THC on steroids. It's a syrup. You mix it in any beverage like a tea or a white soda, or my friend Kev likes a prime, with as little as a teaspoon. It's a fast onset, 5 to 15 minutes. Nano-infused means it's going right into your bloodstream. We're bypassing the breakdown in the liver and all the things that slow down some of the edibles we're talking about here. If you're in Maryland, go visit a Stay Lit Smoke Shop. Check out their locations. But for the rest of us, you can have it shipped. It is legal still to have it shipped from their website to all 50 states without a med card, as long as you're over 21. And right now you can save 15% by entering the code KLIQ, KLIQ, at checkout. Go to get-blitzed.com. That's get-blitzed.com. And try the Delta-9 THC sip and syrup, Lit Aid from Get Blitzed, okay? And that promo code KLIQ, KLIQ, will save you 15%. Mickey, can I make an announcement here? How are we? Are we fairly confident that we're good here? I mean, the labeling, of course, but, the paperwork is done. What do you say? Throw up his response here, and then we can put a drum roll. For the 100th show, maybe we can tell everyone who maybe has been on the fence about this.
Boom! Mickey says yes, sir.
Get Blitzed Lit Aid's Kliq This line.
Yes.
Of Delta-9 sip and syrup. 2 flavors coming out of the gate with Kev's Key Lime.
Boom.
And Sean's Blue Raz Oliver Aid. It is a blue raspberry lemonade mix in the syrup. You don't even have to drop it in the lemonade if you don't want. They're experimenting with the lemonade blue raspberry flavor. So available shortly, working on stuff. I hear the applause throughout the Kliq This community here. And very soon you'll be able to party with us.
Huge pop for me.
Yeah. Absolutely, guys. And talking about other exciting things. It's starting with the syrup, but you might be able to pop a pop top soon and enjoy some Kliq This Lit Aid. I don't know what you're going to call that stuff.
Oh, I'm going to be very toasty for if I got it in my fridge like that, I'm fucked.
Oh, it's canned. It's coming. Canned. I don't know if Mickey wants me to talk about this, but the pre-mixed canned seltzer action on the way.
Nice.
Coming soon.
Thank
All right,
you,
so
Mickey.
that's the big announcement. Thank you, Mickey and Courtney and everyone at Get Blitzed. They're one of the fastest growing purveyors of this, no doubt, due to our show as well. So,
no doubt to the fact that it's fucking just an excellent product.
It's an excellent product. There's a lot out there, though, so there's a lot of competition, but they are slowly becoming the leader. They sell out of the flavors we talk about, he was telling me, and they're going to be vending at the Juggalos. It's a lot coming, so keep your eye on them.
That key lime is just, I'm just a fucking freak for key lime anyway, though.
Kev, I pitched an ad to him, okay? I thought when our flavor's out, I want them to shoot a Breaking Bad motif. Trailer in the desert. You're in the apron in your drawers, working over the stove with the beaker. I'll run in with my bag, being pursued by whoever, like the other guy in the show. Slam the door, and Kev turns from the stove with his, like, what are you stressing about? It's right here. He whipped out the Get Blitzed lit aid right there.
Nice.
Didn't have to go through the rigmarole through the streets. I thought that would be a great spot for us to shoot. Mickey's writing a rap song to put with it. Ask Nash. Hashtag Ask Nash is what we're talking about right now. This is the way to get Kevin to answer your questions on social media. Put the hashtag Ask Nash or join the 11 Soft Club. Be here with us and ask questions like our friends are about to do. Like Germinator did. He said, another awesome show last week. Y'all are the best. Had a question for Kevin Nash. Did you ever get any shit from people who look down on pro wrestling? Thanks. I guess meaning like in film and stuff. Did anybody have negative opinions of this?
I mean, anybody this is our 100th show. Anybody that's been around me long enough knows that I really don't give two fucks about anybody.
Unless they're above you in stature, right? Is the status. Those opinions matter.
Well, I mean, no, I would be more apt to take their opinion. But I've also stated a million times on this show that I've never looked in the mirror and wanted to be anybody but me. So.
Very good. Cav Manning. Good friends, better enemies. When did you know about the fake leg spot with Mad Dog Vachon? When was it pitched? Was this a Vince idea? One of the best things I ever saw in wrestling as a kid. I had no clue he had a fake leg. Top 5 match. So,
Day of, I think that Vachon pitched the idea.
That would be cool as shit if that's true.
Almost, I might be mistaken. All I remember is talking to him, and I said, I'm going to pull you over the railing. I said, give me the Iggy on which one's the, because I sure as hell don't want to pull off pull your other leg off. Look like Ren and Stimpy. But no, it was a great spot. You know, we did so many things in that match. The fire extinguisher, power bomb through the table. We did a lot of things that.
But this is a great example of what I was talking about a couple of weeks ago with the unpredictability in wrestling. You could sit and talk about who's going to win, who's going to blade, is there going to be injury. No one would have put money on the fake fucking prosthetic leg spot being used. And that's why you watch, because you never know what's going to happen. I think that's gone a little bit today. I'd like to see some prosthetic legs, Mae Young flapping in the breeze, something.
But the beauty of that is, and people remember that, and it was like there was nothing that, I mean, Sean and I, the match was in Omaha. We went to the top of whatever hotel we were at, and they had like an Omaha steakhouse, and he and I had steaks, and I drank some vino. He drank a couple of beers, and we just sat there and put each other over.
Right.
Because that was it. I was done after that. I didn't worry. That was my last pay-per-view there.
Oh, right. I didn't remember that.
Yeah, that was it.
Peter D. Hey, Kev, a lot of former WCW wrestlers bitch about Bischoff, but they must have done nicely when they were there. Is it less Eric and more that they've blown their money over the years, trying to find someone to blame? Thanks. Why are people hard on Eric? He made the company huge.
I always use the same answer, just like there's nobody on this planet that when the question is asked, hey, has anybody beat the WWE and Vince McMahon at their own game? The only person that can stand and raise their hand is Eric Bischoff.
100%.
And I don't know. I just, he made me rich. I love him. I like him as a man. I think he was creative. You had to. He's very visual. He's visually driven. If you pitch him a wrestling idea that's all wrestling, if you don't pitch it to him through as he's watching TV, where he can see it, if you don't pitch it right to him, he's just not. But he's so. If you give him to him visually, and anybody that's seen that clip that's on Instagram or on Twitter right now, and they're talking about the who killed WCW, and he's Neil Pruitt's talking about how we were going to shoot it, and he used Hill Street Blues, but I think that when we were there, we actually referenced Cops. But it was that kind of thing where you were, because Cops, that's how it was shot. They came up on it. Hill Street Blues was never,
that was scripted, so it was all. I know what you're talking about. The Cops, like kind of the frantic chasing after the.
It was more what we did, but no, but you can see Eric. Eric. You can see his just when he's explaining it back. You can just see he's looking at it in his brain. He's seeing it. I can just, but I know Eric,
Yeah.
But
that's going to be on what, next week?
Yeah, I've always I've never had. I knew when I tore my quad and I came back, and we were. Oh, I was still on no, I made sure I wasn't on crutches. I think it was SummerSlam. And Vince and Eric were at ringside, and Vince was talking to somebody, and Eric was talking to somebody. They were, Eric had came while I was injured. This is the first time I had seen Eric since I didn't show up in Panama, and I walked right over and hugged him first, and I turned and I saw Vince sell it. That I hugged Eric before, and I hadn't seen either of them, but it was like I hadn't seen Eric.
Yeah.
Like the last time I saw you, Vince, was I was having the conversation of, I'm not cleared for my bicep tear, and you got me fucking getting my gear sent to me. This is how people get hurt. That's the last conversation I had, and I've been gone for 9 fucking months, getting this thing put back together. So, but. Yeah, that's when and it resonated to me. I'm just like, wow, this is my buddy. I loved Vince, but Vince was more of a father figure. Eric was more of my buddy.
Right, got it. Yeah, it makes sense.
Plus,
I'm anxious to see.
He's a fucking Detroit guy. There's just something about us. Detroit guy. I'm doing a show. By the time this plays, it'll be over. But I'm going down to New Orleans, and I talked to the guy today, and I looked at his area code on his cell phone, and I'm like, fuck, that's a Detroit. I said, you're from Detroit? He goes, yeah, Livonia. I said, fuck, man. I said, did you grow up close to Bentley High School? He goes, you could see Bentley High School from my house. I'm like, fuck, dude, I know exactly where you live.
Right. So you have that. You have that.
Yeah. So now it's
simpatico with him.
Yeah. So now it's just like I'm gonna go show. Like the guy says, I'll be there. Fucking. I don't fucking have any hesitation whatsoever that he's gonna take care of me.
Yeah. That's
looking forward to hanging out with a Michigander on Saturday.
Right.
So Scott,
brutally honest. We're us Northerners here. Brutally honest, right? Like, got to be able to have a bit of a sense of humor.
Sarcastic as fuck.
Oh God, we were sitting with Eric at where the fuck were we? Nashville.
Yeah.
Nashville. And
you and Steve.
Yeah, and sitting at the table, end of the night, and Eric sitting there, and I forget I was saying something. We were trying to decide something. I had a pad out for some reason. We were going over something, and I said to Eric, I said, well, we're doing this because blah, 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 blah. And Eric goes, He said, well, yeah, because you're an asshole. I said, yeah. He said, I don't mean that as an insult. I am too. I was like, right, I got it. So you got to be able to talk to people like that and understand what they're talking about when they go, no, you're an asshole like me. I was Steve remembers this. I was laying out the live show. I don't know what I said, but it was assholish. Brandon Douglas, I met Eric along with Sean, Kevin, and T at a hotel bar in Nashville. Wouldn't have been T. Might have been Steve, right? I mean, it was the four of us, right?
Yeah.
Who else from the live audience? Let's get some questions for everybody here.
Maybe Mick Foley. No, that was on stage.
Hey, listen. He was number 4 until that run-in. Mr. Epic, I'm currently raising funds for animal rescue and to establish myself as an animal rescue charity. I share it with you guys. Could you share it on your pages? Well, animal rescue is certainly a fine thing. The only thing, Epic, is, sometimes you got to be careful what you endorse. I mean, you seem like a nice guy. You wouldn't take the money and run. You'll have to take you have to sign some documents and take some lie detector tests first. But Derek Fees, not really a question, but thank you guys for this podcast, especially T. Been living a healthier lifestyle, getting to the gym thanks to Fitbod, and had some laughs. Love tuning in every week. Thank you, Derek. Glad you're here. Thanks for joining the 11 Soft Club, too. Michael Carter, anyone who you'd manage if they asked and you knew they'd listen?
No. No, I mean, people say, I posted a picture of me at the gym the other day, and people are like, oh, it looks like you have one more power bomb left in you. I'm like, okay, and it'll stay there. I don't want to fucking do anything. I don't want to do, I'm going to go down to New Orleans at an established independent show that's been there. Mick just worked for him maybe a month ago. And I'm going to get in the ring and I'll cut a promo. I'm going to give their babyface some love. And then I'm gone. I'm not going to stay and watch the show. I've watched enough wrestling in my life. I'm going to go have dinner by myself and go to bed and catch my flight in the morning and call it a day. So it's like, if you're somebody's manager, that means I'm going back on, it's like, right. My wife put 30 years of me, packing a bag and going out. And we were talking about it the other night. And I said to her, do you regret? Do you understand what I was trying to do? And she said, yeah, man. She said, you were always trying to provide for your son and for me. And she said, she said, even though it was always what you said, she goes, it was true. You can't sing and you can't dance. So you need to go out and do what you do. Mm-hmm. And she said, and you did it and you did it well. And you always you made fucking bank. She says, we're wealthy. She says, T had a great life. And yeah. She said, and when you were home, she said, even when we were separated, she said, man, every day, the minute he got out of school, you were at that house playing with him. So she said, no. She said, you were a good dad. He said, he knew he was loved. And she said, no regrets.
It's good to hear that.
Yeah. But, it was Channing put a post on Instagram the other day. And I follow him. And it was a picture of an old, probably like a 1990 pay telephone that was encompassed in, remember, it was like that kind of that shiny silver metal.
Yeah.
With the back of it was black that had the holes in it, and the fucking phone sat there.
It was the rounded rectangle.
Yeah, and it was all fucking spray painted and tagged and shit. And Channing put underneath it, he says, if you had one last call to make, who would it be to, and what would you say? And I said, to Tristan. I said, to tell him I love him. And he responded, Nash, I know from the bottom of my soul that kid knows that you loved him more than anything. So, because he was, we went to one of my best friends, Adam Rodriguez. We went to his wedding in Florence, and T got a chance, and then T got a chance again to hang out with Chan a little bit at the Magic Mike XXL premiere, and so the boys got to see me with my son, so I think they know how I felt about him.
That's great. So New Orleans, you mentioned. Is Atlantic City happening, Kevin? I'll tell you why. Todd texted me today. He's like, "Are we going to hang it all in Atlantic City?"
No, I'm going to be in Stockton, California.
I said, "I don't think it's happening." He said, "You're on the schedule for Friday night." So just so you know, Kev, we're on the schedule for Friday night.
You know
in
what?
Atlantic City.
And that's great. Because I told the guy we didn't come to any kind of a deal or arrangement. There's nothing in my. I've got tickets to Stockton. I don't have tickets to Atlantic City. So, like I said, it's something about Atlantic City that just fucking makes people just, I guess, go crazy, not pay the bills.
The P says, Kev Sean, congratulations on your 100th. Here's to 100 more. Kev, was there a tag team you and Scott wanted to work with but never happened?
Probably Savannah and Rachel Darien back when they were with Vivid. Yeah, I think they were the Vivid champions at the time.
Would you have demanded they tell you about every experience they had while in high school before they met you? Like
no, we just do our world famous, you both hit us with the Frankensteiner, but we hold it for a half hour.
Half hour. Who else in the house? We always finish up with our friends here, our 11th off. David Van Bogelen. First off, congrats on 100,
hey,
guys. Couldn't be more proud and happy for everyone involved. My question is, did T ever want to be on cam, or was he happy being behind the scenes only?
He was starting. I think we had him on the last 2 episodes.
We brought him on a little bit to talk, because he would talk off camera first, but then you were like, come around the side of the table.
No, he was. That was the plan, was to slowly, make this part of his gig too.
Yeah.
So.
Thank you, David. Thank you for being here every week too.
Yeah, thanks, David.
Love it. Who else in the fan? Before we went on the air, let's all say a big thank you to T for bringing last one of us together. Absolutely.
Yes,
we
sir.
Do that every week in the credits too. EP saw the preview of your upcoming appearance on Death of WCW and was wondering your opinion on Ted Turner. When was the first time you met him?
I've only met him a couple of times. It just, I remember going over to the CNN Tower and to the headquarters, and there was that motherfucker was. He was like the first billionaire that I ever met in my life. And he drove a Taurus.
A Ford Taurus?
Yeah. He drove a Taurus, which was actually built right there in Atlanta when they were making them.
Wow.
And I was just like, wow. That just spoke volumes to me. That was so me. I'm just like, wow, he don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
That's why he's banging Jane Fonda.
Who else in the house? Let's get a couple more for the big show here.
Barbarella.
Which wrestler won EP? Which wrestler won a match on the 100th episode of Raw and the 100th episode of Nitro? I guess this is trivia. Do you have the answer, EP? Is it Kevin we're talking about? No, 100th episode of Raw would have been, Jesus, what year would that have been? When did that launch? 90?
No, Raw? Fuck, that was 93.
That's what I said. I was going to say 94, but so 93.
That was during my run.
But the 100th episode? Oh, it would have been 2 years, right? Because 52,
Yeah.
50, right? Okay, so it would have been 95.
So I was definitely there, and then
100th episode of Nitro.
I was definitely at the 100. I don't know.
Is it Kev? Let's see. People who won matches on both. Let's see. Luger. DP. What are we looking at? Both? No. So find the answer. Let us know, Steve. Oh, Lex Luger's the answer. Okay. So that is the answer. All right.
Lexa!
Serve us up one more. Dan, don't let me down, Steve. I won't.
Don't let me down.
Is that ELO?
Don't let me down.
Electric Light Orchestra.
Yeah.
I saw them in
They
Orlando.
were good, man.
Britt. On a serious note, I thank my virtual uncles for this platform. It's really gotten me through some dark, uncertain days of my life. Thank you for this podcast. Well, thank you.
I think it's gotten us all through some pretty rough times.
That's the thing, Kev, that it always kind of takes me off guard for the little I've done in that business, on the periphery of that business, when people come up and they'll tell me a story about, I was laid up and I had a gallbladder operation. I was laid up for 2 months and I watched kayfabe videos every day. It made me laugh, made me learn about the business I loved. And when you hear about, the entertainment aspect of what you're doing, but then when you hear about some significance that you never intended to have in anyone's life, and then you hear it, those are the things that I remember.
There's a lot of I'll read comments, especially I'll get as dreaded as it is. I'll get a father that'll Instagram me or sometimes DM me, and they'll just have lost their son, and they're like, "How do you how do you do it?" And I'm like, dude, I'm still walking out to the snowmobile in the middle of fucking Lake Superior, and it's mid-April, and I know that, it's like the ice is cracking underneath my feet. It's like, I don't know how you just get up and you just keep going. It's just like I would sometimes see, in the airports, like somebody that, like one of our vets that had came back from the war and they were missing 3 limbs, and I'm like, wow, man, and just the will for that person to live and make it off that battlefield and make it, and to come back to the point where he's now walking through an airport. And I just say that, we're mammals. Like we all have this, so many complexities, and I think a lot of it is, with this bullshit here and everything else that goes through life. But when it comes down to it, man, is we're mammals. That's what we are. We're just Homo sapiens. That's what we are. But I think that the more that you're in tune with your primal being, and I think so many of us aren't, but I think my generation is we're way more primal than the kid that's got half the testosterone I do that's 14. And it's not because I'm taking steroids.
It's because you're Neanderthal. You're 7% Neanderthal.
Yeah, exactly, too, man. But I'm just saying that it's just you've got to go. You got to keep pushing, man, because the time is so short. Man, I look back and I'll tell you one thing, that if the rest of my life goes like the last 16 months, I think that's how long T's been gone, is like 16 months. I might be wrong. It's not like I count it, but I know that it won't be 2 years till October. So, Jesus, it's every fucking day is just, and it's rough. Every Tuesday is still fucking Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you're in a situation where you're in a room and you watch your son go into cardiac arrest, and you could reach out and grab him by his wrist, but he's falling backwards, and you look at his eyes, and he goes into cardiac arrest, and you watch the paramedics grab him by his ankles and sling him on the floor and cut his shirt in half and fucking paddle him. And that's every fucking Tuesday. And then every fucking Wednesday when I wake up, and a lot of times, man, you would not believe how many times I wake up to take a piss and it's 6:06. I think he passed like 6:10, right. 6:09, something like that. So it's like I wake up to piss on Wednesdays, and it's just like I look at I'll pick up my phone, I'll be like, motherfucker. Like unbelievable. And that's for every week. So it's not that you, and I don't dwell on it, I don't dwell on it, but it's just like, if I take a picture of me and my son from my phone and it's us together, like I did when it was that baseball picture of him and I, and he's eating his first hot dog. When I look at that, I'll break down. I can't do it. I can look at pictures of T, but I can't look at pictures of T and I because it's just, and I don't know why. And I don't know if I'll ever be able to. If it's all three of us, I'm fine. But if it's just me and T, it's just something that's I'm just not there yet. So.
Well, let me say, though, that, and maybe this poignance for the anniversary of the show, this show is you and him. I mean, yeah. I'm here, but this show was you and him before it was you, him, and me. So you do show up for something that is just the two of you and don't necessarily break down, and that's part of the monument that you've built to him here. And we still have fun. We still, go all over the place with it. Yeah. But we're driving his vehicle.
And we say fuck 22,000 times.
22,437. Kliq This is a fucking production of Butch and Sundance fucking Media, produced in association with Podcast Fucking Heat, created by Tristan Nash, Kevin Nash, and Sean Oliver. Producer Steve fucking Kaufman. Graphics by Dominic
T. I fucking miss you. I love you.
Audio edit by Wesley Burleson. Theme song by Dale Oliver. Technical research by Tristan Nash. Copyright 2024. Butch and Sundance Media. Kev, how about another 100?
For T.
Customer service never answers the thing. Let us free to breathe in air we're supposed to breathe. Through twists and turns you've come to love. Never